The Crusades explained why they really happened. It began with a single speech. In 1095, Pope Urban II stood before a crowd in France and called for war, a war unlike any seen before. "Deus vult," he cried. "God wills it," and thousands answered. Farmers, knights, thieves, and kings all swore to reclaim the Holy Land, but behind the promise of salvation and glory was something far more complex: politics, greed, and power. Today, we uncover the real story behind the Crusades, why they started, what they became, and how they changed the world forever. The Crusades are often remembered as holy wars, Christian armies marching east to liberate Jerusalem from Muslim control. But the truth is much deeper. They were wars of faith and fear, ambition and opportunity, driven as much by earthly desires as by heavenly ones. Over the course of 2 centuries, the Crusades would shape empires, destroy civilizations, and forever alter relations between East and West. Let's begin where it all started, at the crossroads of religion and desperation. Section 1. A world in chaos. In the late 11th century, Europe was a land in turmoil. The church was powerful, but its grip was shaky. Kings fought each other. Nobles bled their peasants dry. Famine and disease struck regularly. Meanwhile, in the East, the once mighty Byzantine Empire was crumbling under pressure from a rising Muslim power, the Seljuk Turks, who had seized much of Asia Minor. When the Byzantines begged for help, the Pope saw an opportunity to unite Christendom under Rome, to channel the violence of Europe's knights outward, and to prove that the Church could still command armies. Section 2. The Call to Arms. In November 1095, at the Council of Clermont, Pope Urban II made his famous call. He promised that those who took up the cross to fight for Jerusalem would have their sins forgiven and their souls saved. To a medieval audience terrified of damnation, this was irresistible. An armed pilgrimage became a ticket to heaven. But not everyone who took the cross did so for faith. Some wanted land, others loot, and many sought adventure. The roads of France and Germany soon filled with thousands of crusaders, men, women, even children, marching eastward. They wore crosses stitched to their tunics. They believed they were chosen by God, and they would kill in His name. Section 3. The First Crusade. Blood and Fire. The First Crusade, 1096 to 1099, was chaos. Poorly organized, poorly supplied, and often brutal. The so-called People's Crusade, led by the preacher Peter the Hermit, ended in disaster, slaughtered by Turkish armies before even reaching Jerusalem. But the knightly crusaders that followed were different. Hardened, ruthless, and led by powerful nobles, they carved a path through Anatolia and Syria, capturing Antioch after a horrific siege. In 1099, they reached Jerusalem. What happened next was one of the darkest chapters in history. The Crusaders stormed the city and massacred nearly every inhabitant, Muslim, Jew, and Christian alike. Eyewitnesses said blood ran knee-deep through the streets. Jerusalem was liberated, but at a cost that still scars memory 1,000 years later. Section 4. Kingdoms of the Cross. After their victory, the Crusaders established Christian states across the Levant: Jerusalem, Edessa, Antioch, and Tripoli. But these were fragile outposts surrounded by enemies. To survive, they needed constant reinforcements from Europe. So more crusades followed, the second, third, fourth, and beyond. Each one bloodier, more political, and less holy than the last. The reality of crusading was far from spiritual. Crusaders often turned on their own, pillaging Byzantine cities, attacking fellow Christians, and burning towns for supplies. The ideal of the Holy War had become a machine of conquest. Section 5. The Muslim Response. At first, the Muslim world was divided, but by the mid-12th century, it found unity in a single name: Saladin. Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, became the symbol of resistance. He was everything the Crusaders claimed to be: chivalrous, devout, and merciful. In 1187, he crushed the Crusader army at the Battle of Hattin, retaking Jerusalem. Unlike the Crusaders before him, he spared the city's inhabitants. Even his enemies respected him. Saladin's victory changed everything. Europe would answer with rage. Section 6. The Third Crusade, Kings at War. The Third Crusade brought Europe's mightiest rulers: Richard the Lionheart of England, Philip II of France, and Frederick Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire. Frederick drowned en route. Philip went home early. That left Richard, brilliant, ruthless, and utterly determined. He clashed with Saladin in a series of legendary battles across the Holy Land. Neither side could claim total victory. In 1192, the two men agreed to a truce. Christians could visit Jerusalem, but it remained under Muslim control. The Holy City had been lost forever. Section 7. The Fall from Grace. Later, Crusades spiraled into disgrace. The Fourth Crusade never even reached the Holy Land. It ended with the sack of Constantinople, where Crusaders looted the greatest Christian city in the world. By the 13th century, crusade had become a word for any war the Church approved, against heretics, pagans, even other Christians. The dream of holy war had turned into a business of conquest. Section 8. The Last Crusaders and the Legacy of Hate. By 1291, the last Crusader stronghold, Acre, fell to Muslim forces. The Crusader states were gone, but the idea of the Crusade lived on for centuries. It inspired later wars of religion, European colonialism, and a lasting legacy of mistrust between Christian and Muslim worlds. It also changed Europe itself, bringing new knowledge, trade routes, and technology from the East. The Crusades began with faith and ended with empire. Conclusion. The Crusades weren't just wars, they were a mirror of humanity's contradictions. They showed how faith can inspire courage and justify atrocity, how hope can become fanaticism, and how even the holiest intentions can be twisted by ambition. For 200 years, knights marched under the cross believing they fought for God. But in the end, what they built was not heaven on earth, only a deeper understanding of human darkness. If you found this story of faith and blood fascinating, hit like and subscribe to TorchLit History, where we uncover the power, fear, and ambition behind the world's most legendary events. Comment below. Would you have joined the Crusades or fought against them? And don't miss our next episode, Medieval Medicine Cures Worse Than the Disease. Because history isn't just about what happened, it's about why.